So this is something that my grandson, my 5-year-old grandson, he decided, he was over yesterday and he decided he wanted to paint. And so this is all that he painted on this one piece of paper. And I hate wasting paper, so I'm gonna see, not that this should be a waste, but you know, he spent about, I don't know, 2.5 minutes. And that was as long as his attention span was. So I figured I'm gonna see if there's anything that could be done like in a couple of minutes. And right off the bat, I'm gonna flip this around because, whoops. No, actually I'm not going to. That's the hardest part sometimes if you're going to start on something else, is just trying to see where your orientation is. So what I'm seeing right here is my orientation is like, heck, I don't know, nowhere. So I'm going to just hit my paint with quite a bit of water, and you can tell by all these lovely things that I don't, I kind of mix as I go. Although that is what this stuff is for, is so you can mix. Oh, and this is not the one where I got watercolor and mixed. So I like it to be a little bit more yellow than that, but we will add some water. And then we're going to try to, let's do this. Let's see. I'm going to just try something simple for a minute. Although, okay, you can't really see there. I'm hoping that this will only be a couple minutes long because I don't want to bore anybody with whatever it is that I'm doing. This is a huge brush, as you can tell. It's a 24. And I'm only painting with it because I'm got a doctor's appointment in a minute and I'm too lazy to go up and find another brush. But I actually have not painted anything except for those tennis shoes since I got off work in June. Oh, we're still in June, but only for like a minute. So I had stuff to do with my house, and my house got termited, and then taking the stuff out and then putting it back. Whoops, sorry. It's just not one of those things that I like to do. I don't like to be. I kind of like to be organized, but I kind of don't like to be organized because I don't want me to tell myself when I have to do things. Well, except for like adult things, like going to the doctor. But this is just for a TB test because it's time. Although my dog scratched me the other day, and look, I have to have them check that out because I'm not sure that looks right. Okay, let's see. So we use the orange. I'm just going to try to get rid of it right here. Mostly, the best stuff that I do that I can tell is the stuff that just gets layered and layered and layered. And so I also think that like the best thing that you can do, and a lot of times I don't make time for this because I always feel like I should be doing other stuff, but then, you know, realistically, I'm actually just complaining about doing the other stuff. I'm not actually doing the other stuff, so. But the playing is where you find out, you know, what colors do what, and, you know, how much, if you add water here, for instance. And if you go back and add these other colors, oh, it doesn't look like I'm adding another color. Okay, so let's try, I like blue. It's one of my favorites, but we may have too much purple to do much with the blue, so we're gonna kind of spike this out. Why? I don't know. I just like for you to get paper and get paint and then just sit here with me and copy along and see what kind of other ideas you might have. Because really that's what anything creative is born of. Kind of a creative play-like mentality where you just like, what would happen if I did this? Well, this, I'm kind of liking this because this looks like, oh, I'm not even showing you. Dang it. Okay, I need a wider camera, or I need to know what I'm doing. This is like a cornflower. And it'd probably be more like a cornflower if I had more blue in it. So I'm just gonna try to add a little bit. But if you look at cornflowers, they either have little white seeds or little yellow seeds, kind of like right in the middle. So we can't do that right now because it's still wet. And if I put yellow right there, it'll just turn into like gray. So we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna come back, and this is probably already a couple minutes long. I'm gonna try to spruce up this, and it would be really good if I quit hitting the little camera with my paintbrush. I don't know why they make these paintbrushes so long. I'm not one of those people that stands and paints like this. I can't do that. And look, it's sloppy too, which is not what I was going for. So I'm going to calm down just a little bit. Don't ever underestimate, what you can get. I mean, and this is like another pitch for just kind of playing. When you just kind of flick, am I painting, crud. When you just kind of flick your wrist, you should have loads of paper where you can just kind of, practice little techniques. And sometimes it's this, and sometimes, say for instance, and then I'm just mixing paint here, that's not what you're supposed to do. But say I just want a little stem, and then maybe I just do this. Maybe I just hit this point. And drag it along just like a stem. And then maybe, the little nodules that kind of come off the stems. I'm always fascinated with that kind of part about nature. And then you can kind of take some creative license and maybe make this just a little bit, I don't know, maybe this stem has just got a little bit more texture. Maybe it's got little nodules that are going off. Is my hand in the way? Kind of, huh? And then because this is, well, we're going to leave this alone for a minute, but this is, I don't know. We're just going to put some seeds in here. And I am not a slave to doing anything in any one kind of way, or I don't like to follow instructions. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. And so I want to do it myself. But, along the way, I've had, some friends of mine, Linda Knoll and a couple people here local that have always been really great encouragers. And so yeah, I just like to kind of play around and see what I like and see what's going to happen, and is this going in a direction that I'd like for it to go. But usually, whoops, bumping the camera again. Usually I have no clear thought. I mean, sometimes I wake up and I think, oh, but a lot of times I just look at things. You know, I spend some time in the morning when I'm painting. Sometimes I'm not, you know, this last month I just haven't been painting because I've been doing house stuff, but actually I think I've been making more of a mess than doing anything constructive. But I usually look at a lot of things. I flip through magazines, I look at some things on Pinterest, and just not so much for ideas, but if I don't know what I'm going to paint that morning, and usually I'm always, you know, painting flowers, but I don't know, there might be like just a stroke or a color or some kind of technique that I'll see that I don't necessarily want to copy that, but there's something kind of in that idea that I want to explore, and that's kind of fun. That's, well, I don't know what other people would say, but that's kind of like why I even paint. I think. I don't know. Who knows? I could be full of baloney, but I just like to take something like this and see, you know, how many things can we put on here that will make it more interesting. And sometimes it's a lot, and sometimes it goes nowhere good, and then you don't usually see that, because then I just think, holy crap, I'm not showing this to anybody. But sometimes you do something like this, and like right now I'm just making just kind of a little texture field. I don't know where it's going. But sometimes it can morph into a really cool thing, and I don't like to discount the possibilities of that. Because I will see things, you know, I've seen things that I've thought was a cool idea, and then I didn't try, and then, you know, like a year down the road, or maybe not even that long, maybe it's like 6 months or something, I'll be somewhere and I'll look at some piece of art and I just think, dang it, I had that idea and I didn't go with my gut, and now somebody else is doing the same thing and they're getting this wonderful response because they just let themselves, you know, fool around and practice. And I think anytime you do anything creative, whether it's writing or music, you know, writing, for instance, you know, I had English teachers that just said, you sit down and you just write and you write and you write for like an hour in the morning, and it's not necessarily cohesive to what you're doing, but the practice of being able to let your mind kind of free up and not go by just the rules is good, because you don't know what you can find. So what am I doing here? I don't know. I'm just kind of alleviating some of the space between these, what are going to be crazy flowers. And so that's what I'm doing, but now this thing's probably too long, so I'm going to have to put it on YouTube because Facebook just does not like it. But I'm going to work on this a little bit more. And maybe this will just be something that'll take a few days, and then we'll just have to see what we have, because I can't make any promises that anything's going to turn out real great. And every time I hit the camera with my paintbrush, it's going to jiggle. And I wanted green, and somehow I got more blue. And I don't know, my baby Mikey might get really mad that I decided to paint on his painting. But Graham Goldie has lots of paper, and I think I've got the powers of distraction, so I think we'll be okay. I can distract him with a cookie. Okay, so there's this green, but I don't want it to be just green, so I'm gonna see if yellow will even consider raising its little head, or if it's just gonna blend and be some weird color, which is possible. Yep, it's lighter because I have yellow, but not by much. Okay, I think I'm going to leave that because right now I've got like 2 or 3 different colors, but if I keep hitting it while it's wet like this, it's going to turn into the Kiss of Death, which is brown. Kids and adults alike like to mix color, and then I keep telling them, no, it will go to brown. It will go to poop brown. And so, even though I know that, well, I'm covering it up. Okay, so, yeah, it looks basically like nothing. However, it's not going to continue to look like nothing. We don't know where we're going yet, but we'll come back and we're going to play with this for like maybe a day or so, I think. Just to see what we can come up with. I'm just going to slop a little bit of background in here because this is going to be, well, it's going to be our background if we are successful. If we are not successful, which is always a possibility, we will have some kind of slop. But sometimes we can come back from it.